I was always wanting to be a director since I was a little kid. I was in LA visiting my second cousins, and my second cousin had one contact in the movie business, but it wasn't really the movie business, it was the television business. And he introduced me to this person who created Hogan's Heroes. I was about 15 at the time. And this guy said, well, you don't want to talk to me. You want to be a movie maker. Why don't you go next door? You know who's next door? I said, no, who? Jack Ford. They called him Jack Ford. Jack Ford's right next door. Huh. I'll take you across the hall. He takes me across the hallway, and he takes me into the office, and Jack Ford's assistant or secretary, as they were called in those days, was sitting there, and John Ford wasn't there, and so she said I could wait. He was out at lunch, back any minute, and I sat waiting for John Ford to arrive and talking to her. And about 40 minutes later, this old dude walks into the room wearing like a safari jacket and a patch over an eye. Yeah. And he had kiss marks, but I mean like not make-out marks, but the kind of perfect kiss marks, 2 on his cheek here, 2 here, a couple on the forehead. And he walks right into his office, and his assistant grabs a box of Kleenex and runs in after him. And then she comes out about 5 minutes later, and she's got the Kleenex. It's all red. The Kleenex is all red. And she said,
all right, kid, you got 5 minutes.
Probably 1 minute. And I walked into the office, and he was sitting behind his desk with his feet up on the desk. And he sat me down, and he just said, so they
tell me you want to be a picture maker.
I never heard that before, but I never forgot it.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I really do. I've made all these little 8mm movies. And he said...
So what do you know about art, kid?
And I just was stammering. I wasn't expecting that question. He said, you see those paintings around the office? I said, yeah. He said...
Walk over to it.
He said, tell me what you see in that painting. And I said, well, I see 2 Indians on horses. He said, no, no.
No. Where's the horizon?
So I said, well, the horizon's, you know, way above the head of the Indians. He said, fine, walk on to the next one.
Well?
He said, what do you see in that painting? And stupidly I said, well, there's some cavalry on horses. I hadn't learned anything, you know. And he said, no, no, no.
No, 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 no. Where's the goddamn horizon?
And I said, well, the horizon is the very, very bottom of the painting. He said, okay, get over here. And I stood in front of his desk. He said,
now remember this. When the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. When the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
When you're able to appreciate why it's at the top and why it's at the bottom, you might make a pretty good picture maker. Now get the
fuck out of my office.
Thank you.
My pleasure.